Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of My Community. I'm here with my lifelong friend from Holmdel, Jake Murtaugh. Jake, how we doing today, buddy?
Doing good. It's awesome to talk with you today.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure to have wonderful conversations and get together about what will be today's topic, mental health. But before we get into it today, Jake, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Grew up in Holmdel, New Jersey with John. Had I would say a pretty good time.
Yeah, I'd
I
say
would say a pretty good time. Hey, John.
yeah, no, I think we
Definitely
had some
learned
fun
some
memories.
lessons, and definitely was the start of our journey of figuring out mental health and stuff.
Yeah.
But grew up in New Jersey. But I've been a transplant in Massachusetts, so living kind of far away from my friends for a while now. Um, I started the first part of my life advocating for mental health access and child welfare reform. And then I recently transitioned to web development. So I've kind of grown in different ways, professionally and emotionally and mentally and all the things. So
Yeah,
that's
it's all
that's I think that sums me up in a roundabout way.
it's all part of the process, right, big guy? Whether it be a professional growth, mental health growth, or just personal growth, we're all learning day by day, so to speak.
Yeah.
But for today, obviously, as I we briefly mentioned, it's about mental health, and mental health has been such a important aspect in both of our lives, as we've both advocated for us in our times of struggle, in our times of need, and it's been such a important aspect because obviously I feel like back in the days it wasn't as stressed, but now it's at like the forefront for a lot of people's lives. But Jake, why don't you go into your mental health journey and give the audience your take on it?
Sure. I've always struggled with anxiety and depression. Um, very young age, I struggled with a lot of big feelings and not necessarily the tools to figure out how to deal with them. I struggled in high school, struggled in college. Um, and by struggle, I mean kind of depression, um, kind of lack of self care and feelings of self worth. And I would have bouts of addressing the issue, but it just was cyclical, right? And I think a lot of people fall into that kind of deal with your mental health, right? Like you attack it for 3 months, and then maybe your mood shifts, so you're down for 3 months, and kind of a lot of start and goes with how you address mental health. I think that's natural, and I think you kind of have to know that's part of the process too. Is that you need to constantly engage your support, and I think that's where I've kind of arrived recently. Is it's something I think about on a constant daily basis to start the day. I know I need to wake myself up and kind of do the little things that add up to a lot of things. Journaling, even just the getting some self-esteem from waking up early or logging into work early, or um, those small wins that add up to big wins. Yeah, I mean, I have been diagnosed with major depressive disorder, which means I have high highs and low lows. Um, and I think I was put on the right path to like the right mix of treatment and support like 4 years ago. Pretty happy to say it's been like 4 years of seeing real difference in how I even see myself and see how I can attack my mental health, um, but also kind of the grace to understand how mental health is a part of me, and it's a part of you, right? It's part of everyone. I think um,
Yeah,
our friend group. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yes. No, no, I was going to say a lot of people feel, I feel when it comes to mental health, it's like, oh, I don't really have a condition, so it's not as pertinent to me, or it's like, oh, I don't have a necessarily a label, or I haven't seen a therapist. But I feel like when it comes to mental health, it is self care. It is
Yeah,
taking care of yourself every
yeah,
day, and knowing that you do need that support
yeah.
regardless of whatever condition you may or may not have. It just goes hand in hand with just being there for number one, which is you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of viewing it. Like outside of a framework of a diagnosis, right? Like
Right.
you don't, everybody has an aspect of themselves that is mental health, right? You have a brain, you have these chemicals, you have these thoughts, you're in the same environment, you know. So I think that that's true. And it's kind of using self care, which is something I've really, expanded on recently. I've kind of brought this up a couple of times, but I think especially men during the pandemic kind of realized they need some hobbies. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're stuck at home, a lot of us, right? We're stuck at home.
Mm-hmm.
We needed something that was self care. Some people got in the gym. For me, it
Yeah.
was photography, kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting absorbed in other things that kind of um, keep your focus. Um,
Absolutely.
Because I mean, distraction is one of the best coping mechanisms to bad feelings, in my opinion. Um, distractions key.
Yeah, and also especially creative expression, right? I feel like
Yes.
that's what you're going into, especially with your photography. For me, it was my writing, like these things that we could sink that emotional energy into instead of our own discomfort or anxiety or depression or whatever the case may be. We can use that energy for something as a net positive. I think it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at our friend group, right? A lot of artists among us. I've
Yes,
seen us all
absolutely.
go through heartbreak. I've seen us all go through these mental health things, and
Spells. Yeah,
I'm sure they've fueled a lot of the energy, the desire to make art and use creative expression as that kind of outlet for like mental health. So yeah, I think that really rings true. Um,
yeah,
Even
and
walks, right? We talked about walking, right?
yeah,
How
yeah.
do you use walking, John?
So when it comes to walking for me, I when I'm walking, I use it as a sense of centering myself, a sense of uh, creativity, because like even when I was writing my book, I would write like down like, oh, this is a good idea for a passage in the book, and then I would even write it sometimes on my walk. I use it obviously as call hangouts. Like I how many times have we had conversations over the phone where I've been
Yep.
walking, Jake?
Yep.
It's a nice time, I feel like, to reconnect with people and have that 20-minute conversation or whatever the case may be, depending on how long your walk is. Because, like I say in my book, like obviously now we all live, lives that are occupied, and we're not all accessible like we used to be when we were kids. But a 20-minute call is a lot easier than getting together on X day at X time and planning it
Yeah.
out, so to speak.
Yeah, I think especially as like a transplant, right? Like I've not lived in New Jersey around like a lot of my core friend group for a long time. I think phone calls like that, there's kind of two points to that, right? Walking is the best. I think walking is such a good way, especially um part of building routine is the best way to, it's another tactic to attack like the mental health stuff.
Discipline,
Walking
absolutely.
is so
Routine.
good. Getting outside, getting your vitamin D, seeing the suns through your eyes, like it's very important. And then the other part of that is those phone calls, right? Like, being long distance, being away from a lot of really good friends. Like the phone is sometimes the best you can do, and it could be the best thing you can do for 2 years. And I
Yeah.
think as we grow older, I think we have become even more understanding that, hey, I know I'm not going to see you for a while, but when I do, it's going to be the best. And I think because being an adult, I feel like we can finance good times a little bit differently. So like when we do
Yeah.
get together, it's kind of a bigger thing,
It's a
especially.
momentous occasion now.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
doesn't always, if I'm happen to be in town and we can pop over to a house. That's also great. But they tend to be kind of bigger events, which I just think is okay. And I think, especially being a guy, like having you have friends that are going to go off grid for months. They're going to take 3 months to get back to you on a text message, but kind of realizing, they need that space or, whatever it is. Um, I think it's always good to do the what's up text to, your close friends, even if you haven't really engaged with them in a while.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I've been in a place where the random, hey man, what's new has really uplifted me. What's going on with you?
Yeah,
And not
because
having
those
expectations, right? I think that's also important. Not having expectations.
those check-ins could turn into like full-fledged conversations, obviously, right? You could figure out what's going on in each other's lives that you may have not have known before.
Yeah, yeah, and and you don't always have to go so deep, right? It doesn't even need to be. It could be, how's your newborn?
Yeah.
Tell me about anything but the job, or don't tell me about the dishes.
Yeah.
But you know,
No, yeah.
connecting on the little
It's
stuff is almost just as important too. But also kind of speaking up around, I've noticed this. I've noticed maybe you have been feeling down, or I know you're going through some relationship troubles. Like I think especially as we get older, we can be a little bit more direct. Do you agree? At least in our friend group, I feel like we have gotten to the place where we can be pretty direct with.
yeah. Because at this point too, we've known each other since like all of us since we were kids, man. Like
Yeah.
it's a different environment. Like we're talking like 20 plus years for a lot of us. Like I remember at my bachelor party when we were all together. It was like, dude, this was like the reunion of like champions. Like we there was like the Holmdel crew, and it just felt like memories past, man. It,
Oh
it,
yeah,
it really did.
yeah,
And it just shows like even in that kind of environment, like obviously there were like heartfelt moments, and we connected on the deeper level because we want to get those bro talks in, as it were. But
yeah,
yeah, it's important to have the surface level conversations. I realize as well, because the surface level conversations also kind of bring you back to like show that you're in each other's like universes. Like
yeah,
the, you know what I mean? Like we were just talking before we started this podcast about the weather, and obviously that is a very like kind of simple conversation, but it just shows that commonality of what's going on in each other's lives, and then we can expand from there, as it was.
yeah, yeah. It you know you kind of live for those heart to hearts. I feel like every once in a while, like it's so good to get the spark notes of what could be 2 years of self work by someone. Like, oh damn, you've been doing the therapy.
Yeah,
Like you talk to some people and they're like, "Whoa, yeah, yeah, you found your inner child." Like, good.
it's true. It's true, man.
And but like again, like it's important to do the bullshit, to send those memes to, there's some people I just send memes to, and I think even that can be uplifting for folks, like just knowing someone's, you know, giving
Like,
you something to laugh at, or like thinking about you in a moment. It could be
yeah,
little things, little gestures.
yeah, little because it's at the end of the day when it comes to and this is like whether it be mental health, relationships, you still got to relate to them on a personal level, right?
Yep.
And you still got to connect with them. So yeah, it doesn't always have to be uh, as deep as the ocean goes. It really could be the little things like you said, because those moments are the building blocks of a true friendship, and those create the moments that build up into the bigger talks that we have with our people. So I think they're just as important, and obviously when it comes to mental health, they they help us kind of like get out what we need at that moment, because sometimes like you may not want to talk about the darkness, as it were.
Yep.
You just want a friend to talk about how shitty the Mets are doing, or whatever the case may be. It's just someone to be there for you in the way that you need them, as it were.
I've never thought as of the Mets as a positive coping mechanism until now, but John Garrison found a way.
I did it. I did it, Jake. The funny thing is they're actually doing pretty good, but you know what?
is,
It
is
doesn't
that
even matter.
negatively impacting you now?
It's not, no, it's not. It's not.
It is affecting your serotonin in the right
I mean,
kind of
I'm getting
way.
those dopamine hits. I'm getting those dopamine hits, Jake.
Oh
But
boy, it's only gonna crash, as you know. It all comes to a crash. Ups have downs,
oh
especially with the
god,
Mets.
oh no, they're always a roller coaster, but that's neither here nor there. I think I think when it comes to mental health, dude, it really is just like kind of finding your inner peace for what you need at that moment, whether it be self-care, whether it be the support system, whether it be um, the therapy, or whether it be just peace of mind. It's all things that just kind of help the building blocks of the mental health journey, which, as you kind of mentioned before, is kind of like a never-ending quest. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we're never gonna stop. Like I don't want to say worrying about our mental health, but being a part of uh, that part of that experience, because it just is a never-ending experience. It's part of our who we are
It's
as people.
it's 100% who we are as people. Um, like sometimes I lean into the sad,
Yeah,
especially when I'm doing art. Like, how can I make this perspective look different? And I think that's okay too. Like, I think it's a part of me I recognize, and I have learned to kind of love, because it sent me on a ridiculous journey that sent me a lot of good people,
yeah,
and I'm doing okay now, and I have to keep doing well, and it never ends.
yeah.
One day at a time.
Yeah, no, dude. When I wrote my book, one of the last chapters I wrote when I was completely manic, and I thought about it. Obviously, it's one of the more graphic and obscene chapters, and I was like, do I really want to keep this in? And I thought, yeah, I think it's important for this part of this book, because it shows my my kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde version of myself, so to speak. And I even mentioned in the chapter after, where it's like, guys, just so you know,
Yeah.
that was me when I'm manic. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And even though obviously I don't like to be manic or anything like that, it is a part of who I am, whether I want it to be or not. And I do agree that you got to kind of just sometimes embrace that inner 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 insanity, as it were. Like
Yeah.
it's just a part of us.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just part of us that we express differently and we exercise and we take care of and we maintain. And I think, I think that's 100% true. And I think us as friends have played such a good part in that journey. I think I've learned a lot from you and your story, and having read your book, like hearing your story in that way, it's really eye-opening. So I again, congrats on the book, because it, I think, really does talk about mental. I think one of the biggest topics the book does talk about is mental health.
Yeah, no, that was
I think that's,
definitely my crux for sure.
yeah, I mean, with a lot of funny stories.
Yeah,
And that's like such a good storytelling, right? Like,
yeah,
because sometimes the mental health stuff ends up as a funny story.
yeah. It
Like,
does.
you
It
know,
does. And
like
like
that one
even
time I was depressed, so I ate a kebab in my bed and I got hot sauce all over it. That kind of stuff. I was
dude,
like depressed, like bedlocked,
yeah.
got some takeaway kebabs, just splattered it all over my sheets.
Dude, it obviously, like, in the moment we're not thinking that, like, oh, this is going to be a funny story, but it's just that whole mantra where it's like tragedy plus time equals comedy. And it really does. It really does. After self-reflection, after maybe even a splash of humility in there, like it shows that yeah, this is a story worth telling, and this
Yeah.
is a story that I shouldn't be ashamed of or anything like that. This is
Yeah.
just part of who I am.
And it's okay to have self cringe. That's what
Yeah,
I've learned as well. It's hard to like forgive yourself, right? If you've really gone through crises and you've maybe let down people, or you let yourself down in a big way, or had challenges, whether it's like academic, professionally. Um, I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
no, no,
I lost
no,
train.
dude. It's all good. I have the fleeting thoughts as well, my friend. But I think that's a good note to end on. But before I say our send off, is there any final thoughts you want to say to the audience about mental health, Jake, before we wrap this up?
No, I think take walks, give that buddy that you haven't heard from in 3 months what's up text, how you doing. When you're on the next commute, give someone a call you haven't heard from in a while. I think it's the little stuff we can do, especially during this time when a lot of people are struggling for many reasons economically, at the age where people have relationship stuff going on. Um, so just connect in however you can.
That's beautiful, buddy. All right, that's all we have today for my community. On our next episode, we're going to have Sigmund Freud talk about psychology.